G'day and welcome back to the channel. Here's something you didn't know. I collect old school BMX. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Old school only is go. Like most adults, we were kids once, and when I was a kid, BMX was my life. It was the life of most kids my age. And over the years, I've collected the bikes I used to own and the bikes I wish I owned. And we'll start with this one. This one is a 1980 model Mongoose Motomag that I've had for a little while, and only recently was able to get myself a set of Motomag wheels. This was running Tough 2s on it before, and that was because Motomags were so expensive and very rare, especially in Australia. And it wasn't till the Mongoose re-release of the Motomag 3, that I was able to afford a set, and then went straight on. So I'm not going to only show you these bikes. I've got a few, but we'll take them for a ride. There's one I'm not going to ride, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But we'll have a quick look at this thing. It's not 100% original, but it's pretty close. It's a Survivor frame, the original stickers on it. But she's almost the pride of my fleet. Let's go for a spin. I've not ridden this thing with the Motomags on it, so it's the first time. It is heavy compared to what it was like with the Toughs on it, and it'll be even lighter with a set of spoke wheels, but that's how they were. I've got my silly hat on so people don't go, "Oh, you're not wearing your helmet." Whatever, let's go. All the neighbours are looking at me funny. They're kind of used to me now. And I'm doing this with my mobile phone because all my other cameras are wrecked. For a pretty heavy bike, it's pretty well planted. I'm obviously not doing any jumps or anything on it at the moment, but I probably won't. Let's go and get another one. So a while ago, I got all nostalgic. I'm a bit of a nostalgic kind of guy, a bit sentimental, and I got on a quest to find my old bikes. They were never going to be the original ones, but the same as. During that period, I decided to build the bike that I always wanted, and that's this thing. As a young bloke, I wanted a chrome Mongoose with blue tufts. Like most blue-collar families, a Mongoose was way out of price for the parents, and I never got one. We'll show you what I had instead shortly. So this is a tribute to the 83 Mongoose Expert, but it's a 89 Expert frame with the 83 decals on it. Let's have a walk around. Tough 2s and a lot of reproduction stuff on this one. I built this as a rider, so if I was going to go riding BMX, which I've always intended to, but I haven't, this would probably be the bike I'd take. Long frame, more suited to an adult. It's got the layback seat post, but she's a cool looking little bike. A bit of a tribute to what I always wanted as a kid. Let's take it for a spin. First thing you realise when you get on one of these hard plastic seats is how bony your bum is, even though you don't think it's bony. We are not really made for sitting down, but I can't film and pedal and stand up at the same time. Really hurting my butt. So I was never a freestyler. I used to race BMX, used to race a bit of motocross. I could wheel stand for days, not anymore. So I'm not going to be showing you all these fancy tricks. I used to jump off a lot of stuff, but yeah, I was never a freestyler, so don't get excited. So at the start, I said there was a bike I wasn't going to ride, and that's this guy. This is the very first BMX bike I ever had. We'll attribute to that. It's exactly the same bike, the same frame. I did ride it before I restored it. But she ain't getting ridden. The year was 1981, it was Christmas. I was the first kid in the street to own a BMX bike, and it was an era of dragsters and people turning dragsters into BMX bikes, putting different handlebars, different seats. And my dad said to me, "Hey mate, would you like to have a BMX bike?" And well, "What's a BMX, Dad?" And he said, "It's bicycle motocross." And I said, "Yeah, that'd be cool." Christmas 81, that's what I got. I was a king of the streets on that thing. I rode the wheels off it, literally. It eventually got replaced after I'd worn it out, but I kept it for a while. My mates used to ride it when they came around, and I don't know what happened to it. My mum probably threw it out. But yeah, she's, talk about memories. That bike there is ultimate memories. So like I said, not everyone could afford a Mongoose, and you could probably call this a department store bike, but it wasn't. It was a Hallmark, and it was sold by bike shops. My dad got it from a bike dealer that he knew, and it was pretty trick for a kid back in the day. I tried to replicate it as much as I could from memory and the photos. The only thing I don't have, which we all used to take off, is the reflectors. If I find a set of original reflectors for it, I'll stick them on there, because this just gets hung up in my house, and it's not one I want to ride. But yeah, she's a special one. This is like my number one BMX. It's a nothing bike, but to me it means everything. So the year was 1983, and it was Christmas, and under the tree was my Rally Ultra Magnum. It replaced my old Hallmark. I'd grown out of it, I'd worn it out, and it was time for an upgrade. My dad was into rallies, he was English, and the obvious choice for him was to get a rally, and I was quite proud of my rally. Let me show you some of the features. So something unique about the Ultra Magnum, it had aerodynamic frame and forks. So that's oval shaped, and oval shaped. And it was quite unique. And back in the day, this bike stood out. Everyone would comment on the frame. I felt pretty cool on this old bike, and it was the bike that I raced. It's a bike I eventually started to ride to work when I left school. It was a bike that got stolen, and I actually got it back, which was pretty cool. But I did everything on this bike until I got my license, pretty much. It took me years and years to find this bike. Original seat, chain, pedals, pads, everything. It even came with original tyres. I put them on another bike, I'll show you in a minute. Let's put that silly hat on and go for a spin. So when I was a young bloke, helmets weren't really a thing. Stack hats kind of came on the scene. They weren't compulsory. You weren't cool in a stack hat. They're still not cool. And when I go putting a helmet on, just to ride around like this, I feel like a douchebag. But truth be told, I hope this wind isn't too bad, I probably look like a douchebag. This old man riding a BMX bike, a kid's bike around. But anyway, it is what it is. Just looking down at this angle here just brings back so many memories. The miles I did on my BMX bike, I lived on it. I could wheel stand this thing. I'd run out of road when I was a young bloke. We had competitions. We'd count how many telegraph poles we could get. I think 13 telegraph poles. So on my quest to find my Ultra Magnum, I found this thing, and it was 100% complete original. The oyster coloured bike, and that's the colour that Rally called it, the off-white bike. I just got it as a frame and forks, and I swapped everything off this. It was a low-use bike, and I had this frame just sitting there for ages, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with it? I don't really need it. I might sell it. And then I had this brainwave to make it an all-black bike, and it's probably one of the, I don't know, prettiest bikes, I guess, that I own. I'm not going to ride it because we just rode one, but it's pretty cool. Tough twos, all black with a bit of chrome. It's a nice looking bike. I reckon if you were a kid and you owned this thing, you'd be king of the streets. So while we're talking rallies, I didn't go out to buy all these rallies. I just wanted my Ultra Magnum pretty much. But on that quest, I came across a Team Rally burner frame, and these were the flagship of the rally bikes. These are the ones that they raced in England, and I think they raced them in America. Much stronger frame, little bit different to the Magnum, but same concept. So aerodynamic frame, oval tubes and forks. But this is the flagship rally, and I just had to have one and restore it. Don't know about you, but I think it's a fantastic looking bike, and I've ridden it once. Those tyres are from 1983. They're genuine rally tyres. Where are they? And these were on that black, you can see that, rally. These were on that black Ultra Magnum that I got that had done no work. So, I mean, you look at the tyres, it had hardly been ridden, that bike. So anyway, let's go for a spin. She's a pretty bike. So I was saying before, I don't go around hunting rallies, but this one found me. So I'd gone to watch one of the local footy matches, and on the way out of the car park, I saw this thing in someone's trailer with a heap of rubbish. Didn't have wheels on it, it was pretty rusty. The thing that caught my eye was a snowflake sprocket on it. And so I went and knocked on the door, and they told me I could take it. So with bits I had laying around from the other bikes and other stuff I'd been doing, I was able to put this thing together. I actually have a set of original, I think they're 1981 model, 82 model Tufts. They are in desperate need of restoring, but they will eventually go on this bike. So this bike is the Rally Macho, which was the predecessor to the Rally Magnum. It's an 82 model bike from what I've learned, 81, 82. I don't think it's anything special, but it did have a lot of good bits and pieces on it, which I did update some of my other bikes with. So it's a bit of a leftovers bike now. So we'll have a quick look. I'm not going to take this one for a spin. What I want to do is set up all my bikes in a line, which I've never done before, and take a photo. Well, there you go, my BMX collection. I hope you enjoyed that, something different. Needed to change it up a little bit apparently. Someone recommended doing permaculture, but yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So anyway, stay tuned, be good to your mates, like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to see anything else on these things, just sing out. Tell me what you've got, tell me what you used to have. I'll be interested to know, and I'm sure there's other BMX guys out there that are into this kind of stuff, and cars as well. So anyway, be cool. Cheers, bye. I could wheel stand this thing. I'd run out of road when I was a young bloke. We had competitions. We'd count how many telegraph poles we could get. I think 13 telegraph poles. So telegraph pole